before I arrive at post. It starts now. It starts with the US India business community that is here, and by getting to know you the best I can before going out, going over to Hyderabad, I will feel not only more confidence, but supported, and then also I have started to build a community that I can go back to and ask questions of relationship. When Modi and Trump, when President Trump and Prime Minister Modi met in mid-February, they released this joint statement. I'm sure many of you have read it. It is quite ambitious. You know, it's good to have ambitious goals. Double bilateral trade in the next 5 years. And to 500 billion, do y'all know this reference? If I put my finger up like this, Mike Myers, you know, this might be a reference, right? Maybe not of the joke. Too soon. But it's quite ambitious. But how can we do that? We do that through the partnership of the private sector and government and academia and nonprofit and non-government organizations. No one of us can do that alone. No one policy can do that alone. And what I love most about this joint statement is how it highlights across many of the sectors, and maybe I'll get to that in these formal remarks, you know, the increasing partnership. So whether it's defense and it's, you know, the Tiger Triumph exercise out of Vizag, right? And there's of course many other exercises, but we have to like that best because it's in our consular district, right? I think there's just so many ways where we can partner, that we're already partnering. And if I can kind of, with risk of overlooking many of the sectors, of course, biotechnology, there's a lot of partnership there. Improving trust, especially during the COVID time, where we came together to figure out how to change or improve regulations so that we could strengthen the supply chain and help people be healthier during that time. But for many of you, we've met a little bit already today, and maybe you noticed in my bio that I have a deep background in technology. And so it is no accident that I am headed to Hyderabad. In fact, I had to work very, very hard in order to get this assignment. It started a year ago, really. So as a technologist at the Department of State, I've worked with some of the companies even represented in this room. You support consular affairs, and you know, hopefully we can further strengthen these contracts. Technology is something that I have long focused on, both as a catalyst to improve our business, our internal business operations, but also as an important part of our diplomatic agenda. Now we talk about technology and technology policy all the time, right? It is the base of all of these other sectors, whether it be space or defense or biotechnology, health. It's really important to me that as I get to know each of you and the business that you do, I learn how to tell that story even better. You know, not just the kind of cocktail version of the story, the intro story, but really be able to speak to how Indian American and India business is investing in America, right, to further strengthen the economy here, and how that is a full circle, a full ecosystem where a lot of folks come and study here in this country. I went and studied in India. I'll tell you a little bit about that. But a lot of Indians come and study here in this country, a lot, then also transition to a work visa to get experience in the tech or other sector here, and a lot go back to India to then further strengthen that connection. And so the more I can learn how to tell this story about the businesses and the ecosystem that we have, I think the more successful we will be. in making sure everybody understands why we have this very ambitious goal and why India is the place to do it. TRUST is an acronym that stands for Transforming the Relationship Through Strategic Technology and things like that. But trust is what this is really about, right? That's what diplomacy is about. It's why we're here today, to see if you all can trust me and if I can trust you and how we can build that trust, because trust is really what strengthens relationships. So I'm pretty excited. Maybe I can just add a little bit about myself personally so that you can really trust me. When I first went to India, I was 13. And my son, who's going to India in 16 days, he's 14. So this is kind of a cool, full circle moment here for us. But it was actually my grandmother, my mother's mother, who went to India in 1982 as a tourist. And she came back and she said, "You think you are travelers. You've been nowhere until you've been to India." So in 1984, when I was 13, we traveled to India. And sure enough, I was just blown away. I was really impressed. It really meant a lot to me. I couldn't imagine, how a place could be so vibrant and such depth of culture and so old, the civilization, and so varied. It really left an impression on me, and it had a lot to do with why I studied international relations at American University many years later. And at AU, they had a Hindi class. I thought, well, why not? I'll take a little Hindi, thordy, right? And so I learned Hindi, and then I studied abroad in India in 1992. And I was there for 4 months, albeit up in the north, so it will be my first time to the south and to Hyderabad, but I was in Udaipur, Rajasthan, and my study was about gobar gas or biogas, and how that really is a technology solution to, what everybody needs is fuel, how to, improve and make easier families' use of fuel instead of sort of hunting and gathering all day for wood and then the smoke and all the things. So that experience, of course, was transformational for me, to go out into the villages and to get to know India on a whole new level. Anyway, I'm going to skip the next 30 years. I've had a very interesting career at the State Department. I've been in the State Department, but I wanted you all to know that story, because to go now and serve in India in this role in Hyderabad, it's a dream. I mean, it is truly a fantastic opportunity. And to bring my tech backgrounds and my diplomacy background and my interest in India and the culture all together in one role.
My request to you also is to visit our tier 2 towns. They are coming up. There's a lot of opportunity. Almost most of us come from tier 2 towns, but we were very blessed to have access to free education there, free degrees, and then we were able to come down here, and then America gave us. So I started a private non-profit called US India Mission. During COVID, I arranged private charter flights under this, and I do smaller initiatives under this to guide students, some small businesses to come down here, anything that I could do, smaller things like this, And I want to, of course, thank each and every friend who was always with me.